All right, guys, welcome back to the second channel and another edition of the Guy Boston MLB Parlay of the day. We are on the second Guy Boston channel, so if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I'm already subscribed to the channel, just make sure that you are subscribed here to the More Guy Boston Sports channel and you're hitting that like button. Today's goal is to build a nice parlay that we feel pretty good about. We can use alternate lines, alternate totals, all that stuff with some nice plus money behind it. So my goal is 3 to 4 legs depending on what we do. I will say we started this series making sure that we had at least one money line, at least one total, at least one player prop. I think we should go, handcuffs off and just kind of go off script a little bit because we've had more success doing that. So I think we actually have a couple team totals that I'm kind of circling right now we'll get to in the video. But if you aren't aware, what we do here is we go through the whole slate. We've got 13 games. We kind of pick and choose little pieces that we think could go into a parlay. We kind of put them on the short list. And then by the end of the video, we'll whittle that down into what we'd consider something that we really are confident in terms of a parlay. And confident and parlay probably don't mesh all that well. We are looking for some plus money here, so obviously take everything with a grain of salt. But guys, before we do get to that, I want to talk to you about Chalkboard. If you've not signed up for them yet, this is a perfect opportunity to do so. You could just sign up today using code GUYBOSTON. I'll have a link in the description as well as the pinned comment. You're going to get $20 on sign up. Right there. You don't even need to deposit to get that $20. I recommend you do because you're going to absolutely love this app. But go ahead and check it out, guys. You pick more or less based on player set projections. You put 2 or more into an entry. The more you win, the more you get paid out. What's really cool is that Chalkboard now is offering some sides, so you can pick a team to win. You could pick a team on the run line. You can also take totals in the games, which is really, really, really unique across the DFS space. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Again, link down below. Sign up for Chalkboard. You're going to get $20 free immediately upon sign up. But what do you say we go ahead and dive into the dashboard here? Game number 1, we have Baltimore taking on Boston. I do think that Boston has a chance to put up a decent run total today. I mean, if we look at their most recent games, they're kind of sporadic, I will say that. But if we're looking at them, say over 3.5 or over 2.5 today, you could see they definitely have had some pop-up performances. Now, they've been really good against the Orioles in the past. These 2 games were very recent. They did score 3 runs. They got beat in this series. So I do expect them to kind of come out and play fairly well. My issue is that it's a total of 9.5. There's already a lot of runs expected in this game. Having to pay minus 330 for 2.5 runs isn't necessarily, I don't think, on my bingo card today. I will say 3.5, sure, but that's where I mentioned sporadicness. Like, they haven't been all that consistent. I think they'll give us 3 today if you want to add that. But unfortunately, the odds at minus 330 or minus 380 are just a little too much. Let's move on to game number 2 here. All right, in the Atlanta and Miami game, I do like both of the pitchers. Now, Spencer Strider has struggled to some degree. He's a little bit better against righties. There are some righties in that lineup, but still some fearful lefties, right? Jacob Marseille being one of them. Cabrera's been very good. He's been really good against righties. A lot of tough righties in that lineup, so I don't expect there to be a ton of runs scored in this game. But with that total at 8, and I believe even if we look at some of the updated lines here, in fact, we were just on that game, yes, 7.5 is kind of what we're looking at right now. By the way, guys, this tool is Outlier if you want to check them out. Link down in the description or scan that QR code. What we'd want to be looking at is probably some sort of an alternate total, right? But we'd only be able to bump it up to, if we went for an alternate here at 9.5 and still minus 240. I don't know if I love the hit rates here. You can see Cabrera when he starts 59% on the year. When Spencer Strider starts 59% of the year, I'm not looking for 59% when we're paying, minus 240. So again, 2 games up, 2 games down. Nothing that I'm ultimately loving here in this spot overall. Bybee for Cleveland, Seymour for Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be a Tampa Bay bullpen day. I don't mind some runs in this game, but realistically for a parlay, with the rain coming in as well, it seems a little bit risky. Like, I think that the fastball and cutter obviously could be good combos, but what if that cutter's not working, that changeup's not working? Cutter, Cleveland's hitting well. Changeup's hitting well. Sure, they might be able to get to Seymour. But how many innings are we going to get out of him? Not sure. With the rain, not sure how much we love it. Bybee, on the other hand, has been better at home, but struggling lately. Fastball cutter could actually be good. So, yeah, guys, we're being picky today. 3 up, 3 down. Nothing that we really wanted to add to our parlay just yet. That Red Sox play maybe being the most, or getting to the threshold the most, but even still, not so much. And I know we might get comments being like, why don't you trim out these games that you don't like anything or anything like that? Guys, the point of these parlay videos is to kind of just go through the slate, give our thoughts as we go. So I want to leave in some of the fat, right? We don't want to trim the fat. These are more raw, less edited videos here going up on the second channel. So that is why it's a little bit longer. That's why you might get a little bit of a rant or even me showing you a game that I have no interest in and us still saying why. So hopefully that's appreciated. But if it's not, at least at the very least, I guess, I just wanted to let you know that we're aware that that's happening. But it's kind of the point, right? So, yeah, just FYI. But let's dive into this next one. Yankees and Washington. A lot of fastballs, a lot of sinkers. The slider's going to come in as well from Brad Lord. I like immediately the thought of the Yankees. Now, in my actual plays today, we already took Giancarlo Stanton over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs because look at how he matches up. We have a great pitch mix rating. He's good against righties, really good against righties in terms of OPS. So I don't want to double dip and say, hey, take him to get a hit or something, but maybe we can pay a little bit of juice here and say the Yankees are going to go out there and give us 4 runs. They've done it in 6 of their last 10 games. They are at home here. They've been struggling a little bit, but at home against righties on the season, 62% of games, right? Via outlier. So obviously this is a spot in which maybe, just maybe, we can trust them on the season against righties in general. 64% in their last 10 at home against righties, averaging 4.2. So they're still giving us that number. That's going to be the first one that we put in the pool here. Yankees over 3.5. Hopefully we're not shooting ourselves in the foot because this team was really strugglesome against Red Sox until yesterday, in which they went off, right? I think that they kind of bounce back here and look a little bit better. So I think that that's what we're going to roll with overall. Don't mind the idea of the Yankees on the money line, but realistically, Yankees money line at minus 240, right? That's what we'd be looking at. To be able to pay just 40 cents more, 235, to be able to pay just like the 40 to 50 cents more, I kind of like the idea of them being able to score 4 runs, especially when the bullpen for Washington stinks out loud. So yeah, you could go money line as a replacement if you want, but I think we like the team total over. Here's an interesting one. So we have 2 really good pitchers on the mound. Joe Ryan from Minnesota, Max Scherzer for Toronto. I think Toronto, there's obviously a chance that they could do all right, especially Joe Ryan's slider, sinker, splitter. You can see the meat of that, and the meat of the order should hit those pitches well. Where I want to kind of go here is saying, okay, well, let's trust Max Scherzer. If we look at him against this Minnesota squad, and when I say Minnesota squad, I mean the guys that are on the team, he has some really, really good numbers. So does Joe Ryan. But again, I'm a little fearful of how good this Toronto offense is. So where does my mind immediately go? Okay, well, what if we look at an under for the Twins in terms of a team total, right? Can we go under 5.5? Could we go under 4.5 for minus 200? They have done that in, let's see, 7 of their last 10 they stayed under. They're averaging just 3.6. When on the road, 6 of their last 10 they stayed under. They stayed under in 68% of games this year when on the road, and up against righty, 67%. Head-to-head here, they've also stayed under in 6 of their last 9. So I think this could be a good spot overall. Maybe that under 4.5. Again, is it a little bit of a stretch? Sure. Is the Yankees 2.5 safer? Sure. Is the alternate under 5.5 safer? Sure. But we are trying to get some decent numbers here, and already we're at plus 102 over on Caesars here for these 2 spots. I think that that's what we're going to look at. And again, we have a couple more team totals to go that I do like. These are 2 that we've kind of circled, and I like being able to take an alternate line there. I'm thinking Max Scherzer pitches well. Joe Ryan, I think, could do all right as well, but again, I kind of worry that this offense on the Toronto side of things can get to any pitcher as of right now. So why risk it in a sense? Also throw in the fact that here, ready? We have the fastball, 29th are the Twins. The slider, 28th in the last 30 days in terms of runs above average. Scherzer should be able to pitch pretty well, and this bullpen's fairly rested. By the way, guys, another thing to promote here, but if you guys do like what you're seeing in terms of the dashboard, GuyBostonSports.com, head over to the members area, sign up for the MLB dashboard. You get each and every game broken out in a visual format like we've done so far, and you can see all the key stats that we like to look at on a day-to-day basis. Check it out, GuyBostonSports.com. Mets taking on Philadelphia. I do like the Phillies in this spot. I've already rolled with the Phillies in terms of the money line today, but I don't necessarily sit here and think that it's a total parlay piece. You have the Phillies who are good against righties, but they've been a lot better at home this year than they have on the road. It's not like crazy good ball run scoring weather in Citi Field either. Senga's been okay. He's bad against lefties, which is huge because you have Schwarber and Harper. I would say Phillies team total over is something that we consider, but not absolutely loving it. So let's go ahead and move on to Arizona and Milwaukee. This is another one that we may pay a little bit more juice, but keep it in there. You could see Brewers team total over 2.5. Yes, little crazy, but how about this? Their last 10 home games averaging 6.2, but they've landed on three of those times. So even if we move this like 3.5, it does change a little bit, right? So I kind of like the idea of paying some juice, getting those 3 runs in, and as we start to add more and more, there may be a chance now that we can work with, say we look at Yankees over 2.5 just to get that down. Minus 600, probably not, but point being, if we feel like we have some givens that are getting thrown in, maybe it is worth tinkering with some of the ones that we already have out there. I don't know if these are examples of that, but ultimately, Brewers, yes, it's pretty damn juiced, but I really do like the idea of it. You can see here, fastball we're going to get. I mean, there's no pitches that they're hitting all that poorly. Eduardo on the road, not all that great. Against righties, not all that great. There's going to be a decent amount of righties in that lineup, including switch hitter Isaac Collins. So Brewers should put some runs up here. Like I already mentioned, they've been, if we take a peek at them at home this year, or in the last, we should even go last 20 games to make it more clear. So 17 of 20, but 18 of 20 in their last, 20 games at home. And how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 12 or 11 games at home against lefties? They've had at least 3 runs. But it's worth noting, 3 of those 12, they actually did hit 3. So that's why I'm paying a little bit of juice there for the 12. For the 2.5, I should say, not the 12. And again, as a reminder, we're throwing things into what we consider kind of our short list, and we can still whittle this down once we get to the end of the video. So right now, these are 3 plays. These are not locks into the parlay. We're trying to put, together a 3 to 4 leg parlay, but maybe we have 6 options by the end of the video, and we kind of go from there. Talked about this in the main video. One thing that jumps out to me in this game, I do think that Shane Smith, as much as I like him, you can see he's had some walk problems all year long, right? And this is a team that's walking the 5th most in the last 30 days, the 8th most against righties in the last 30 days. So maybe we take a peek at Shane Smith to walk 1 guy. If these odds are just absolutely terrible, then no. But I already like his over 1.5 walks. So if we can just get him to walk 1 person, seems like a throw-in. Does this alter the odds at all? So we have plus 160 right now, plus 150-ish. If we toss in a minus 575, I don't think that's going to do too much. It does jump at 40 cents, but we can keep that added in for now, but I don't think that this is something that really stands out too much to me. I mean, 91% of games, just 2 games in which he didn't at least walk a batter. That's awesome. At home, 8 of 10. Head-to-head here, last time he played them in May, he had 3 walks, so sure. But I'm confused if we want that 575 price or not. And it also limits us just to DraftKings to keep that in. So we're going to keep it in the bank as of right now, okay? But it may not be something that we ultimately end up rolling with. It is just the thing that jumped out to me in this game. I'll be honest with you, McGreevy for St. Louis, Oviedo for Pittsburgh. Nothing that I'm really even liking. In fact, when we went through this game earlier, we just kind of blew through it, right? So to me, this is not a spot that I want to spend too much time. Why don't we move on to the Angels in Texas? 2 decent pitching options here. We have Soriano, who I do like. He's on the road. He's been better at home on the road this year. Good against righties, decent amount of righties in the lineup. Against DeGrom, who's obviously very, very good. One thing that jumps out to me here is the fastball and slider combo I think should be pretty good for DeGrom. So is there a chance that we can just take a team total under for the Angels and bump it up? Under 4.5. 8 of their last 10 games, they stayed under that, right? What about on the road? Last 10 games, so they've gone over that a decent amount. Against righties, not so much. And on the season, they stayed under plenty. Interesting enough. If we look at, Texas and I guess, actually the Angels versus Jacob DeGrom, a lot of decent numbers in terms of, person to person. But even still, if we look at numbers just from him against them, yeah, mediocrity, I would say. This is something that I'd consider, but I don't necessarily know if I love the idea of that minus 250. What does it do to the odds? Again, now we're putting a bunch of, it only jumps at 20 cents. I don't think that that's going to be something that we consider. This would be kind of like, I guess, a secondary type look, but even still, the minus 250 is a little strong for me in this one, even though I do think that his pitch mix, as well as his bullpen, should be able to hold it down. So I guess for the sake of the video, I'm going to kind of go back on what I just said. Let's add it in, sure, because we want options. All 5 are plus 315 right now. I don't think that that's much value. And if we look at Caesars, we take out Shane Smith. You're at plus 264. So sure, we have some options here. But to me, these last 2 that we've added in, we're only kind of adding in just cause in a sense. So not exactly loving it. I wish I could trust JP Cedars enough to throw him into a parlay, because this would send the thing through the moon. We have plus money on the Padres. Still a potential final play for me personally today, but not necessarily worth it in a parlay, I guess I would say. So yeah, it would be Padres or nothing for me in this one. Maybe their team total over. Bryce Miller stinks out loud. But again, much like we talked about with some of these other plays, even the Padres in the money line for the plus money doesn't seem to be even worth these two spots because I think these are a little bit more likely. You still do, for whatever reason, have the Padres at plus money. So I don't think that's a parlay piece. If you like the idea of that, that might be a good look for a standalone play. Scooble. Again, we have two options there. I mean, really, when I say two, we have one pitching option that could definitely result in a, team total under for the Athletics, strikeout over for him. But this Athletics team has not been striking out much. They've been hitting a lot of pitches. The sinker should be really good for him. I get it. But you have Nick Kurtz, Shea Langeliers. These guys have actually been hitting well. And you even say Brent Rooker, okay, he doesn't have a great pitch mix rating. His numbers against Scooble are pretty good. So I think that we pass on this one, even though, yeah, it seems like there might be an opportunity to just say Detroit go win the game. Better bullpen, better, starting pitcher, better pizza Papa John's. But no, I just can't get there fully just on the back of Scooble. I wish I could, though. All right, last game here, and while we do have a stud in Hunter Green on the mound, he's going up against an offense that I do think at some point will piece things together. It's the Dodgers we're talking about here. And while you could make the argument that, okay, well, the Dodgers aren't the Dodgers right now, and Hunter Green has looked pretty good since coming back. The fastball slider isn't necessarily the best pitch, and this is a parlay we're talking about. I'm not saying that I like the Dodgers at the price. I'm saying that there's enough of a chance in my brain that they do hit Hunter Green, go to a bullpen, and anything could happen in this game. So from a parlay perspective, nothing really jumping out to me. Kind of looked at Miguel Andujar here in terms of being able to get a hit. He likes the fastball, likes the slider. That's what we're going to get out of Emmett Sheehan. So that would be kind of why I like it. But even him to get a hit, minus 225, it's not doing what I want it to do, to the odds here. So we'll add it in there, but I do think that's probably going to be one of the first to go. I think the Shane Smith over in walks is not worth it whatsoever, right? At minus 535, let's weed that one out. We now are in the plus 250s for the 4 that we have in. That's not including Andujar. That's only available, it looks like, on ESPN. So you know what? That's probably not going to be worth it. These 4 are the ones we have as of right now. We have 2 team total overs, and then we have 2 team total unders. I don't mind this plus 264 price tag either. I was hoping for 4 legs to get to the 300s, but to me, these are alternate lines good enough. This is the only one that's like kind of crazy, that 2.5, but we saw how important that 3 is for the Brewers. So I do think that this is going to be the parlay today. For plus 264, we have the Yankees over 3.5, the Mets under 4.5, the Brewers over 2.5, and then the Angels under 4.5 there. So 2 unders, 2 overs. I told you guys we like team totals today, and that is what we're rolling with. So that is going to be over on Caesars. Make sure to let me know in the comments if you would have added anything. Do you not like some of the plays that we have in there? Let me know in the comments, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.